There's over 100 degrees every day. And I'm headed to the hardware store. The problem with me, Road Glide said, it's hot in Texas, and a desire to come in here. I'm glad to be alive. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice. I'll be glad in it. Good morning. And this is Monday morning, August the 21st, coming to you from South Alabama. So I got an issue. I got a helmet issue, and I hadn't been shooting a lot of video, and I hadn't been in the shop a lot. There's the hog pen right behind me. I hadn't been in there much this summer because of the extreme heat. So I'm going to take you in there. We're going to talk about my helmet issue and see if we can figure something out. That it's been so blasted hot. Here's the deal. Gus, my Labrador Retriever, has destroyed 3 helmets, 3 of my helmets, 2 half helmets and an HJC modular helmet. There's videos about it if you want to go look for it. And I had a helmet that I had retired, and this is it. I had retired this helmet. It was a cheap helmet to start with, but I like the way that it fits me. And so let me bring it outside where there's more light. I like the way that it fits me. And but I had retired it. It's skin up. My grandsons have played with it. And then when I did some painting in the hog pen, I didn't move it because it was an old retired helmet, and so it got some paint. See that paint? See the dragon? As I tell the dragon sticker, and see that paint right there? It got paint on it. So we typically go to the Smoky Mountains in October. And here's what I'm dealing with. I'm not power mouthing. I'm just telling you, this is life. I live life. You live life. You understand life. I think my wife's car, her 16 Ford Explorer's got to have a starter. Now, it's got to have a starter. The battery on Black Beauty, my 2020 Ultra Limited, is going bad. I've got to go get a battery this week. I'm thinking that before I go to the Smoky Mountains, I'm going to have to replace both tires on the Ultra Limited. The front tire is still the original tire. It's got almost 23,000 miles on it. And the rear tire now has, I've replaced it once, and the one that's on there now is probably, I'm just thinking that, but by the time I get to October, so I gotta have a new battery. I gotta have 2 tires. I need a new helmet. I've been looking for helmets. I can't find a helmet that I think fits me right, my big head, and that I can afford while I'm buying a starter for the Explorer, battery for the bike, tires for the bike, other stuff going on. So I decided that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this helmet. It's all skin up, and I'm gonna do some work on it. I'm gonna take that sticker off right there, and I'm gonna do some sanding. See if I can smooth it out just a little bit. I don't know if that's gonna work, and then I'm gonna paint it, and we're gonna see what happens. Here's a better look at what I'm dealing with. There's the paint. There's the sticker. Look at this. And this is mostly from me retiring the helmet and my grandsons playing with it. And I know, they say that once you drop a helmet, you shouldn't use it. But I'm gonna try to see if I can't get some more use out of it. I don't know, I said it was a cheap helmet. I don't really remember what I paid for this helmet, but I really like this. I don't even know what brand it is. I can't find a brand on it anywhere. So we're gonna see. So I'm gonna start off and I'm gonna pull off this sticker, and I'm not gonna ask you to watch me do it. I got the sticker off. That's where it was, right there. And now I'm going to, this thing right here, I'm going to take this off and I'm going to clean it up and I'm going to paint it with a different paint. And then I'm going to glue it and I'm going to put it back on there. So I'm going to take this off. And the reason that I like this old helmet is that I don't get the mushroom top effect with this helmet that I do with some of the others. It sits a little lower on my head. And I've already got a big head. I mean, I really do. I've got a big head. I wear a 7 7/8 cap, or even some, just according to how they're made, an 8. So yeah, I got a big head. So I've got that off, and I'm gonna lay that aside. I got the sticker off. That's where it was, right there. And now I'm going to, this thing right here, I'm gonna take this off, and I'm gonna clean it up, and I'm gonna paint it with a different paint, and then I'm going to glue it and I'm going to put it back on there. So I'm going to take this off. And the reason that I like this old helmet is that I don't get the mushroom top effect with this helmet that I do with some of the others. It sits a little lower on my head, and I've already got a big head. I mean, I really do. I've got a big head. I wear a 7 7/8 cap, or even some, just according to how they're made, an 8. So yeah, I got a big head. So I've got that off, and I'm gonna lay that aside. I've got this 60 grit sandpaper that goes on my palm sander, and I have 2 or 3 of these laying around, but I'm gonna get some of this sandpaper out, and and to start with, I'm just going to do it with my hand and see what happens. Actually working pretty good. I want to do some work. I'm going to ask you to watch the whole thing. I'll be back. I think it's looking a lot better. And it's kind of hard to hit every little spot, but it's much smoother. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's much smoother. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tape up the things that I don't want to have paint on them, because I want the helmet to look normal, and then we'll be back. All right, I'm not saying that it's body shop approved tape, but I got it taped up. I'm not going to tape up this GoPro mount. I'm just going to paint it right along with the helmet. I got that helmet all taped up. I thought I had paint. I thought I had like 4 or 5 cans of paint, and I found nothing. I thought for sure I had a can of black paint. So I'm headed to the hardware store, and a couple things have occurred to me. Number one, I probably should have just left that piece of molding around the bottom instead of taking it off. But my thinking is that I would paint the helmet a flat black, and then I would paint that piece of molding a semi-gloss, because that's kind of the contrast that it had when it was new. But now, that means I have to buy 2 cans of paint. And I don't think at the Ace Hardware that I want to do that. So I may just go ahead and glue it back on there. No, I think I'm gonna paint it separately, because if I glue it back on there, I won't be able to paint the bottom of it, because I'll get paint inside of the helmet. So I will still paint it separately, even if I use the same paint, and then I'll just put a bead of glue in that thing, slide it back up on the helmet, and it'll be there till Jesus comes. All right, I got some satin paint. I was gonna go with flat black, but I think the paint that was on there had a little bit of a gloss to it, and I liked it. While I was in the hardware store, my brother works at this hardware store. He pointed out to me that they had a 52-inch ceiling fan that normally sells for $149.99. They had one. They wanted to get rid of it. It was $25. I looked at that thing and I thought, you know, he said, don't you want that fan? I said, I don't mind having the fan. I just don't want the job that comes with it. But I bought the fan. I'm gonna take it to the shop and put it in the shop, in the corner, in the box. Not gonna hang it in the shop. It's white, which wouldn't be a problem. And we've got a couple of places in our house where we need some ceiling fans, and when I get the gumption to do it, I'm gonna go get that ceiling fan and I'm gonna hang it in the house. So, back to the shop to paint the helmet. Oh, by the way, here's the paint. Ace. I wasn't really looking at name brands. The only reason I bought this paint because my brother was helping me, and I told him I wanted a semi-gloss, and we were looking at the caps. Typically, you can look at the cap and tell about the paint. But this one, they had one that had this same cap that said flat. It said flat on the label. And then they had this one with the exact same cap, but it says satin. So we shall see. I'm back. So I've come out here behind the shop, behind the hog pen, and something to set this helmet on. And I decided on this old grill. I don't think a little black paint on the lid's gonna hurt it. The problem with me and painting is patience. I gotta get. So as I was saying, the problem with me and painting is patience. I am not a patient man. But I know with spray paint, it needs to be, and there's a little bit of a breeze out here which is gonna cause me some problems. But the thing is, it's slow, I mean long, not slow, but long, quick passes. Patience. All right, so I'm finished with round one, and I'm gonna let it dry up a little bit. Seems that some of the imperfections from the helmet and from me sanding it are coming out, not coming out, but the paint is, you know, making them look more obvious. But we'll see. I'm gonna let it dry for a few minutes. Okay, I'm probably gonna come back and do it again. Come back with some finer sandpaper and see if I can't smooth out. So I'm pretty satisfied. I mean, it's an old helmet. It should be retired. I'm still looking. I was on J&P Cycles website this morning looking at modular helmet. I really need a full helmet, but I like modular. And they have a store in Pigeon Forge, and I'm going to be there in October. So I may just make plans that while I'm there, one of the first things I do is I go to J&P Cycles, and they have a great selection of helmets in that store. All right, so if you're still with me, I know this has been a long video. Chances are most people didn't stick it out this long, but it's there for the record anyway. I'm not just sticking to this old helmet. I'm still gonna get new helmets. I'm working on it. I'm just trying to do something to get me by until then, all right? I want to remind you of this, that Jesus said the thief only comes to steal, to kill, and destroy. He said, I have come that you may have life and that you may have it more abundantly. And I want to encourage you today to choose the life that we have through Jesus Christ. Hit that button. Bye. Later.